And good morning, Kevin Miller, the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. It is amazing what has rolled in. Liberal Steve joining us here. We'll get to him hopefully back from Belize, allegedly. By the way, I do want to thank William and Arthur. They're both serving our country, and I want to thank their grandfather who came in and brought in a turkey for each of them. William, Arthur, your parents, your grandparents. Thank you so much for serving our great nation. It's always better when we have such young people that are committed to so much. Coming up tomorrow, don't forget, it is Rod Stewart tickets and Boise State tickets, our way of thanking you, Big Thursday. But it is a big week here, Miller's Mission. We're live here at the Walmart in Nampa on Garrity and Franklin. We would ask you to give a turkey, not be a turkey. And already it's rolling in. And God bless our great friend Patriot Ray, Mary. I was going to say Mary Ray, but his daughter. Thank you. And, this is all about making the community better. Joining us now is State Representative Christy Perry, just off her big announcement yesterday that if things go her way, she'll be Congresswoman Christy Perry. Representative Perry, thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Well, good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me. And what a great opportunity to come out here. And thank you for your turkey drive, by the way, and helping the people in our community. I personally appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you for the turkey. And thank you to Senator Hagedorn for getting folks fired up here.
Yes.
So the big news for those of us that love the politics, you've declared as a candidate for Congress. Mm-hmm. Can you take us through the process, please?
That's actually a long, hard process, to be honest with you. And I think that anybody really who jumps into such a race needs to do their due diligence and really take the time to look inside themselves personally, professionally. I think you have to do it spiritually. I think you've got to walk through all of those avenues and really determine, is this the correct path for you? And my husband and I did that actually several times and left it in God's hands and figured that this is where we were supposed to be, then this is where we would be, and here I am this morning.
Now, and this is a compliment, you're a young lady.
Thank you.
In an era where a lot of people have checked out of government and politics, this has been your passion for quite some time. Why?
Yeah. Actually, for a couple different reasons. I remember this goes clear back to Girls State for me.
Right.
I went to Girls State in high school and absolutely fell in love with really the process of it. And I really did understand how important government is in the lives of people. I understood it then, but I really experienced it as you grow up, raise a family, have a business, and then you have a greater appreciation for the impact that government has on people's lives. And so I kind of couple that with my desire to serve others. I have an intense desire to serve. And so those just married and made the perfect match for me.
Now, for those of us that, again, we might read Politico or watch Fox News or hopefully listen to KIDO Talk Radio, we love the politics. The difference between being a state representative and a congresswoman, is that a big step?
I think that's a huge step. For me, and actually, I mean, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, it's almost hard to get your mind to switch from being so state-centric focused to nationally focused. However, I think that the way that this particular position is going to run for me is I still will have that state-centered focus first, because as a representative of Idaho at a national level, I want to make sure that Idaho's interests are first and then the national level.
Now, time flies, but can you believe, 7 years ago when we had this race and everybody thought that Congressman Minnick was unbeatable, had a pretty contentious race, that 7 or 8 years from then you would be running. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. Yeah, it is. And actually, when I very first got into politics, I had thought that I was going to do it later in my life. Matter of fact, when I first ran for the legislature, my youngest son was still in high school. And sometimes politics actually picks you to run at a time that is most appropriate, and sometimes your plans are secondary.
Let's talk a little bit about your platform. What do you bring to the table? A very competitive field. So what is your differentiation from the others?
You know, actually, I find myself as a very different candidate. I think my husband and I are actually great examples of the people who actually live and work in the 1st Congressional District. But some of the major differences here are I have that time to commit actually to that position for a meaningful amount of time in order to give Idaho that representation in Congress that it really does deserve. I also am very clear about entering this race. I know what race I should be in. I know exactly what I'm running for and the reasons why. I'm not pulling any U-turns here. I'm certainly not getting ready to rest on my laurels. And I have no difficulty in shying away. I don't shy away from difficult votes, actually. And so I think I've got that passion, that drive, and I certainly have a proven ability, as you've seen what I've been able to do over here in Canyon County and Lake Lowell.
Representative Christy Perry with us, candidate for Congress, 1st Congressional District. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio. What do you see in Congress right now? Here's another one. They've got record low approval ratings. You want to be a part of that body. If elected, what do you bring? How can one congresswoman make a difference in Washington with all the negativity going on about Congress, ma'am?
You know, it really is shameful that Congress has that negative approval rating, but it's probably one that they deserve. And I think part of that reason is that they have kind of latched onto a no, no, no mentality. They have become completely polarized, very divisive, and we don't see people really willing to put themselves out there and build those relationships that are necessary to be able to get the job done. And I think another really big aspect that's missing is that we've been trying to kick God out of government. And I think we've got to put God back into everything that we do and how we relate to people individually.
Now, I know it's early, Representative Perry, but any type of signature legislation that you'll champion and you'll talk about on the campaign trail if elected, any special issue for you?
You know, Kevin, there are so many issues that need to be addressed at the national level. But, of course, coming from a conservative Republican background, the main ones really are going to be taxes. We need a tax structure that's going to be able to work for everybody here, that's going to be able to grow our businesses. So we need to get rid of that bureaucratic red tape that really stifles our business. I live in that world, especially owning a gun shop.
Right.
That constant attack is so difficult to live with. And so we've got to do those couple of things really before we do anything else.
Indeed, we talk about small business, the self-employed tax, the unemployment tax, this, that, and the other. The government de-incentivizes people, it seems, to owning small business. And you couple that with owning a gun store, and that's like a double whammy. So a very unique perspective. Now let's talk a little bit about the trail. I mean, I think somebody said it's 700 miles, the first CD. That's a lot of miles on the odometer, ma'am.
It's a big district, but it is an absolutely beautiful district, of course. And so I have gone up and down this district many times here actually in the last couple months, but actually in my entire life here in Idaho. And so that mileage is a big issue, but I enjoy that drive. I enjoy being able to stop along the way and talk to people and let them tell you what's important to them.
No, I'm with you. It'll be a great experience, I would imagine, because, there's just differences between Caldwell, Nampa, Meridian, and Boise. Now you throw in, the North Country and the like, and listening. What are your thoughts on Congressman Labrador and his time there? Not talking about his candidacy for governor, but as possibly being his successor. What has he done in that office, and what would you try to continue, and perhaps what would you try to change?
I think that people are comfortable with the fact that he's a staunch conservative Republican, and I think that he stayed true to exactly who he said that he was, and I think that people have appreciated what he has done in that regard. For me, I have that same conservative background. I just approach things a little bit differently. I think I'm more of a relationship builder.
Okay, and when we take a look at President Trump, the art of the deal, your thoughts on President Trump there?
Well, I voted for President Trump, and I'm going to tell you, people can say whatever they want to say about him, his past, but I was looking for someone who had a backbone.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to see in the presidency, and I give that man all that kind of credit because he has had a backbone. He has gone in, and he is doing what he said and what he told voters that he would do, and I have tremendous respect for that.
Representative Christy Perry joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio, candidate for Congress. Kevin Miller in the morning as we continue on. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other issues facing this race. When we take a look at gun control, an issue that you've dealt with here at the state level. Why don't we just start with that one? How does that move into the federal level? Because you have people saying, you know, we should do this. We just had another tragic shooting. You've got Democrats calling for this, Republicans saying no. Everybody blames the NRA. As a small business owner and as an elected official, you have a unique perspective on this issue.
I do, actually. And for as far as the Second Amendment goes, I want to make myself perfectly clear. I'm an absolutely staunch and ardent supporter of it. We've built our livelihood on that. But that has been part of our entire lifestyle. You know, we are in the shooting sports. We take our family hunting. That's part of our value system. Those are part of our traditions. And I know we have that constant battle, especially with people back east who just can't understand our value system and our way of life. And so for me, it's more than just obviously that gun itself. But that is a constitutional right to own a gun. I think that they want to go after them constantly. They're after your guns. They're after your rights. They're after their property. Right. And I think you have to stand your ground.
Now, in Idaho, you probably don't get asked a lot of questions about North Korea or the Middle East or any of those issues.
Right.
But I'm sure you cover it like everybody else. It's kind of, that's a different realm, being in Congress,
right,
and possibly having to vote on whether or not to send the country to war. Your thoughts on that?
I think sometimes that the media tends to jump onto, whatever is going to stir up the public almost. And I hate to say that,
That's how we justify our existence.
But it seems like
yes.
It works that way.
Right.
And so when I look at North Korea, here's what I see. I see a country that has built its entire living on basically rattling its saber to the world global community, and then having the global community come in and go, well, okay, now calm down. What can we give you?
Right.
Do we send you more food? Do we send you more rice? What can we give you? And I see that they have done that for generations. And now what has happened is you have a new ruler there who's doing the exact same thing that he saw his predecessors do, but he's running into a bit of a problem
right.
with Donald Trump because he's not playing the same game that people have for generations. And Trump is really, in my opinion, simply standing up and saying, look, we're not going to enable this behavior. I don't find anything wrong with that. Does that mean that President Trump's going to send a nuclear weapon? No, I don't think so. But I think he's making it very clear that America is not going to enable bad behavior. And I stand with him on that.
Representative Perry, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you for the turkey. Two final questions. Richard Ben Kramer wrote the book, What It Takes. It was about the 1988 presidential politics. What do you believe it will take to win? And if you could just take us through the decision of doing this, because I know it's not easy for anybody. I mean, we all go, hey, look at so-and-so, look at Representative Perry, but you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a business owner, you're a person.
Yes.
You're all in.
I'm all in. I'm all in. And that is a very big decision to make. My husband and I took a lot of time to go through that step by step. And you really had to be introspective when it comes to, can we physically do it? Can we mentally do this? Can we emotionally do this after what we've gone through in the past year? And we really had to decide what is important to us. And for me and my husband, it was service. And my husband made the comment to me the other day. He said, you know what, I really do understand what drives you to do this. And he said, and I really gives me a new appreciation, he said, for those military families who also have to support their members, because my husband feels like it's very similar in that regard.
Right.
He loses me an awful lot to public service, but he also has to have that understanding of how important it is to our country and to our state.
Well, that's the insight. Whether it's your job, whether it's public service, there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off.
Right.
And that's a very special individual that understands that.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I'm married to a man I don't deserve, Kevin. And I'm very thankful.
Well, I was going to say I feel the same way, but I'm married to Dorothy, so I would say I'm married to a woman I don't deserve. But Representative Perry, thank you very much. Good luck on the trail, and we'll be covering this, so we would love to see you again. And
thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the process. It's so important to have good people in, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for all you do for our community. It means a lot.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
I'm Kendall Thurneau, and I am the Children's Program Manager for the Boise Rescue Mission. I handle most of our kids through City Light and Valley Women and Children's Shelter. So back in April of 2010, I was getting out of jail for a probation violation, just some discretionary time for a relapse, and I knew I needed to change. I had heard about City Light, that they had a drug and alcohol program, and I knew I needed that program, and I knew I wanted to do a Bible-based recovery, because I had pretty much tried every other recovery out there. And I knew I wasn't going to leave until they let me in that program. So I literally checked in on a Monday, and I was in the program that following Tuesday. You know, it takes a lot to have to go from jail straight to a homeless shelter. There's a lot of, like, what has become of my life feeling, and you're pretty broken. You're definitely broken. But I think there's such a desperate need when you're that broken that you're willing to do anything and try everything, because you know you aren't doing life the way you want life to be done. It is life-changing. It changed my life dramatically. I went from being a IV drug user to somebody who was learning how to interact with the public day-to-day, donors day-to-day, and getting to say thank you for their gifts and their donations. I mean, it was a big change, but it was such a great experience to learn and see all those people who cared about me no matter what I used to do. Not only do we help the families that are in our shelter, but the families that have ever been in our shelter or are just in need. And there's so many people out there in the valley that are struggling, that need our help, and so we need all the turkeys that they want to get. You know, I remember walking in the door and needing a meal and a place to sleep, and that door being open to me no matter where I was in my life, still being addicted. I got to hear the word of God. I got to have a clean bed. I got to have a hot turkey meal. I got to have clean clothes and a place, and somebody to just say it's going to be okay. Somebody to just hug me while I'm standing there with tears running down my face because I've never been in a shelter before. So they just make it so much, they just give you so much love in that moment of when you're hurting. And so the turkeys, you know, it's just one way we can continue the love is to, you know, give them food and hot meals.
And there we have it, a huge exclusive. Representative Christy Perry joining us here today. Amazing. She jumps into the race, and you've got a lot of talent in the 1st Congressional District. Very different from what we saw 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Let's go to security guard Mike, who joined us yesterday and donated a couple turkeys at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, security guard Mike.
Hey, Kevin, how are you doing today? You're awesome. I was so glad I got to see you on Monday, and your setup. You're awesome. You look great, and I appreciate all you're doing out there for Rescue Mission, and the Miller's Mission is just one great thing here in the Valley and for all of Idaho, and I'm proud of you. And I just want to tell you, hey, I saw Christy Perry at the VA the other day. I think she's the real deal. I liked her a lot. She was very open and talked to everybody, and she wasn't like one of those people that was aloof and was not afraid. She just talked to everybody. She's a real nice lady. Anyway, so great job, Kevin Miller. Keep up the great work with the Miller's Mission. We appreciate everything you're doing out there for the people of Idaho and the people that are might need a little bit of extra assistance at this time of the year. You take care of yourself and have a wonderful day, and God bless America, and God bless you.
God bless you, security guard Mike.
Thank you.
God bless. Traffic and weather together at KIDO. And Kevin Miller here. We continue on with Miller's Mission. And before we get to Liberal Steve, who has joined us, we have a young man here. Sir, why don't you come up and introduce yourself?
Good morning, guys. I'm Kelly Esslinger with Treasure Valley Exteriors.
Well, Kelly, thank you for joining us here. What brings you here to our beloved remote broadcast center here in Walmart?
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity to come down. We are down here to make a donation and then also challenge not some of our competitors, but actually our suppliers. Our company provides value-priced home improvements here in the Valley. I've been doing so for years, millions and millions of dollars now, and so we wanted to, take this time to give back to the community, and then challenge our suppliers, as I said.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about the suppliers and such. Who would that be?
Yeah, specifically it's James Phillips at Roofline Supply. That's our roofing supplier, and Clay Boyce at Alside Supply, and Matt Chidester at Lansing Building Products.
All right. I hope their ears are burning, and if not, we urge their friends and family members to get a hold of them. What would you like to challenge them for, Kelly? Any amount or anything, or what would you like to say? A turkey, 2 turkeys? Liberal Steve will throw in.
Awesome. Our gift is $500, and so we would certainly expect them to beat that.
Wow. Thank you very much. And we'll have you hand.
It's a great cause.
If we can have you hand Kelsey the check there, we appreciate that. Yes. Thank you very much. You're making a huge difference here for so many people in the Treasure Valley. And if people would like to get a hold of you to do some work, what can they do, sir?
Yeah, they can find us online at TreasureValleyExteriors.com or call us in Meridian there at 208-888-7084. We're open 9 to 5 and ready to take your call. Thanks.
All right. One more time. We want to make sure people get that number. It's Treasure Valley Exteriors, right?
TreasureValleyExteriors.com. Yep.
Okay.
Great.
And your phone number?
208-888-7084.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And good morning. Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Don't forget, Thursday morning, listen for your chance to win Boise State tickets, number 1. And number 2, your chance to win Rod Stewart tickets. That's right. Rod Stewart coming to the Ford Idaho Center. And as Liberal Steve likes to say when he's driving around Caldwell, do you think he's sexy? We're talking about Rod Stewart. So a couple pairs of tickets to see Rod Stewart, a couple pairs of tickets to see Air Force versus Boise State. That is coming up on Thursday. We are here at Miller's Mission. Want to thank Representative Christy Perry for swinging in. Want to thank Flora. Want to thank you for your donations. We continue to roll. Coming up, the return of Liberal Steve. He is here at the Broadcast Center, and we will take your phone calls with Liberal Steve. I know Pete Mountain Home wants to give him a nice little smack. But joining us is Harry from the Boise Rescue Mission. You remember Harry from his first appearance a few years ago. He loves to cook, and he loves to make a difference in people's lives. Harry, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, there's nothing to be nervous about. Look, you got me with my disheveled look. You got Liberal Steve with his do-rag. You're amongst good people.
Okay.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, for people that aren't familiar with the Boise Rescue Mission, what their donations can do to make a difference, sir.
Their donations make it amazing for people who cannot provide for their families, people that are struggling out there in this world. It's amazing what they do. It's really hard. You come out, where I work at, I cook, and I see these people coming in there looking for a hot meal, and you see them down on their luck, struggling, just trying to make ends meet. They come in the kitchen for only quiet time, beat all the hustle outside. It's really good to open up your arms to feed these people. And what the Boise Rescue Mission does, it's really amazing to help these people try to get on their feet.
Well, I hear you're very creative in the kitchen.
I try.
Well, give us some examples of your creativity.
Well, once a month I try to do quarter chicken night, which is usually on a Tuesday night. What I do is cook like 60 whole chickens, half them up, then quarter them up, and people are just amazed what I do in there. I just like to cook. It's a passion. I never did it back home in Florida. Back home in Florida, I could repair anything in anybody's house for over 30 years, my eyes closed. But I just always had a passion to cook. And
you're probably missing that Florida weather this morning.
Not really. I kind of like it out here. I like the weather out here. I don't miss the Florida weather. The only thing I miss is my family softball and saltwater fishing all year round.
Well, indeed. Harry, anything else you'd like to say to people? And the holidays, people are looking for a warm meal, and it's wonderful for the Boise Rescue Mission, whether in Canyon County or Ada County, to have the facilities and the food to cook with, right?
Oh, yes. Come on in. We're open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We don't turn nobody down. You're hungry, we'll feed you. Have no problem.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share, brother? You're doing a great job.
I'm nervous.
Look, there's nothing to be nervous about. You're the good-looking one amongst the three of us, so.
I don't know about that.
I do.
But, I just like to tell everybody back home I'm doing good, and I love them, I miss them. And my sister's listening back home, and the lady who sent me here from Intervention sent me out here. She gave me two numbers. One was in Alabama and one was in Boise. I called up Alabama, and Alabama didn't sound right. When I called up Boise, I fell in love with it. So if she's out there listening, I'm going to tell Susan, thank you very much. You're my angel. I love you for giving me, pointing me in the right direction towards Boise, Idaho, and the rescue mission. They gave me an opportunity to get a second life, get back on my feet, get a second life for my family, which I was down. If I didn't get this help, I would be out. My family would disown me, and I would probably be dead on the life I was living. Ain't no doubt about it.
Saved your life.
It saved my life big time. And I love the Boise Rescue Mission for doing this for me. Help me out, get me on the right feet, help me build my relationship with God. It's amazing.
Well, God loves you.
I love God. I love the Boise Rescue Mission. I love what they do for people.
Well, we got that you love the Boise Rescue Mission.
Got to.
All right.
They're amazing. And what really freaks me out is that this is not government funded. It's all funded by the people in the community, and they are amazing people. Truly amazing. Like this morning, like this lady, the couple came in, donated 4 carts full of turkeys, brought out everything in Walmart and donated to the rescue mission. That is amazing. That literally brought tears to my eyes. Literally brought tears to my eyes. And it's amazing what people do for this place.
It is.
It is. And it's
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay, shed tears. Nothing wrong with that.
It is. Harry, thank you.
No, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. And thank you, Boise Rescue Mission, for giving me a second life.
And if you would like to help Harry and others, BoiseRM.org, or stop by the Walmart on Garrity and Franklin here, we would love to see you, number one, or go to any Walmart and donate turkey bucks. Just go to the register. Now, look, you got to kindly remind the folks, sometimes they're the good Walmart people, and sometimes they're a little busy. It is the busy time of year to say, hey, I'd like to donate $15 of turkey bucks, as our friend Patriot Ray did with his daughter, Mary. Harry, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. You're free
God
to
bless
go.
y'all. Thank you.
God bless you. Take care.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. All right. Joined now, before we get to Pete from Mountain Home, by the well-traveled liberal Steve, back in person. Good morning, sir.
Buenos dias, Idaho. Is everybody fired up out there and ready to get in here and make it happen?
Well, maybe you should
gobble, gobble, gobble.
Maybe you should challenge all of your fans if they would like to donate.
Yeah, I would like to challenge Canyon County Police Force, Canyon County Sheriff's Department. I want all the officers to swing by. It would really be nice if you could give Miller kind of like a little parade of squad cars, no sirens, just lights going, and everybody open those trunks and take a turkey out or a couple turkeys.
Well, maybe during the morning show we could do that.
And, you know, what would really be nice to see some of the politicians down here, like that nice lady, Mrs. Christie, I believe her name was.
Representative Christy Perry.
Representative Christy Perry. No relation, she told me, to the man in Texas, so vote for her if you're a Republican. But I'd like to see the governors that are running out here. I would like to see the lab at my door out here with a trunk full of turkeys.
You know, that's one thing that I've wondered, is this would be a perfect opportunity for all these candidates. They're looking for something to do, and they could really, A, give a turkey, not be a turkey, and show people that it's not about them, and they could come by and they could talk to me, and maybe if you're here, I'm sure that, for airtime, we would, for turkeys, we would give them airtime.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Tommy Alquist and none of them have handcuffs chained to their chair in the office today. Jump in the car, get out here, and drop off a load. And I'm sure Miller will give you a little bit of airtime. And if you get here late, he'll give it to you tomorrow.
Well, yeah, just come during the morning show because we really can't give you airtime when the morning show isn't going on. You know that.
Yeah, and
because we have your favorites, Sean, Glenn, and Dave.
Who?
Exactly.
Who?
Let's go to Pete in Mountain Home, who wants to give Liberal Steve a big kiss this morning at KIDO Talk Radio.
I'd like to say the rescue mission, doing all that without any government help is that's America. I think that's great. And second, in light of Steve's comments on Judge Roy Moore, I would like to say that there have been reasonably credible allegations that Liberal Steve engaged in inappropriate conduct 40 years ago, and I think he needs to prove that he's innocent.
Well, remind me of that. I have short-term memory.
You said Judge Moore was guilty.
I'm sorry.
He's as guilty as sin.
We can't say anymore. We just know that it was inappropriate, Steve, and it happened 40 years ago, and I'd like you to prove that it's innocent. You are innocent now.
I don't have to prove anything. The Spirit's with me at all times, and I can look right into Moore's eyes and tell him, you better ask forgiveness and become a man rather than a conspiracy nut.
I'm sorry,
Steve. We beat the South once. We may have to beat them again.
Steve, I'm sorry. If you're on the radio, you got to prove you're innocent. Sorry.
What are you sorry about? Stand up for what you think.
Okay,
you don't think,
you're innocent,
do you believe
get out there and do it.
Do you think he forced that woman to try and have sex with him in the back seat of the car behind the restaurant?
Now,
Steve,
sir, this is a family show.
Judge,
I'm going to warn you about that.
About your inappropriate conduct, Steve.
Okay, Mountain Man. Dead air is not good for you there, Petey baby.
Steve, you fess up. You'll feel better if you admit that 40 years ago you engaged in inappropriate conduct.
Oh, it's for the last 60.
I think we have an agreement.
Now with underage girls there, Petey babe.
I think we have an agreement here.
Cast the first stone, Steve.
And I've been throwing it ever since, and I handed one to his mom, Mary.
All right, Liberal Steve, we appreciate that. Pete, anything else?
Back to the rescue mission. Thank you. You folks do a wonderful job, and God bless.
God bless you.
God bless you, Pete.
All right, we continue on here at KIDO Talk Radio. So you believe that Judge Moore is guilty?
We've gone over that, Mr. Miller. You know he's guilty. I know he's guilty. But he's not man. He's man enough to run around and tell everybody what their sex life should be and what their morals should be and try and get God into the state and all that good stuff. Well, the generals down there during the Civil War found out who God was.
You sound like me 20 years ago when I did talk radio in Alabama. Anyway, we'll take more of your phone calls here. We do ask you to stop by and give a turkey, not be a turkey. Kevin Miller with our turkey, Liberal Steve. You're listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
My name is Jessica Kaufman, and I work in the children's program at the Boise Rescue Mission. And before I came to City Light, I was running the streets in my addiction. I was an alcoholic for years, and I was moving from state to state, and it was a very lonely, scary life. I drug my kids around with me from place to place, and I was very fearful and on edge most of the time. When I got to the mission, I had exhausted all other opportunities with family and friends, and the way that they loved me was unconditional, and I don't believe I've ever felt that before. They accepted me and my children where I was at that time, no matter what my background looked like, and it looked pretty bad, so I almost didn't think that they would accept me, but they did. They were very loving. There was a lot of structure, which it's exactly what I needed. It's everything that I ran away from. They taught me how to parent my children in a loving way. They taught me how to keep a schedule and keep a budget, and most importantly, they taught me about the Lord, which I did not know anything about Jesus. I knew a little of him from being in jail, but when I got to the Boise Rescue Mission, they laid that foundation for me. We need the food, and the kids need to eat, and the moms need to eat, and the dads need to eat, and we all eat together. So my son, Charlie, he has grown so much. I am so proud of him. He was crazy broken when I got him back from the state custody. And to watch him grow and to apply the tools that he's learned at the mission, words really can't describe how proud I am of him. I mean, it used to be a fight every day to get him to do his homework, to, get him on the bus, to get him to bed at night. But now he comes home and he's like, Mom, I have my homework. I'm going to do it. And just yesterday he said, no, it was Friday. He said, Mom, the teacher called out names for people who have missing homework and I wasn't one of them. And so just for him to recognize that, if he puts his mind to something, he can do it. And so we got all of that from the mission. I would say thank you for saving me and both of my kids and providing a place for us to go that would accept all three of us, because there's not a lot of places that would accept families. So you brought us together, and without the help of the donors, we would never have that.
And we continue on here at KIDO Talk Radio, Miller's Mission. Let's go to Brian at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I am a assistant scoutmaster at Troop 94 here in Boise. And you have your one fundraiser a year, and we have our one fundraiser a year. And I think we can help each other out here.
Okay.
We sell fresh Idaho russet potatoes. Okay, come right out of the sweats from eastern Idaho, and that's the one thing that our boys do to help them get through the year. Okay, you do this fabulous thing every year and help Boise Rescue Mission and their needs as well. We have 20 extra 50-pound cases of potatoes. I know you're all about the turkeys like Liberal Steve, but you got to have the fixings. If you have somebody who can help us out, we will help you out and donate all of those potatoes to your cause.
Oh, that would be huge. How can I get a hold of you, or do you want to just leave your name and number, and I'll have somebody contact you, Brian? Whatever I can do personally for the Boy Scouts and for you to make that happen and to help the mission, I'm there.
Yeah, see, I think we can help. We can kill two birds with one stone and help out two great causes at the same time. If we can get some folks to get together, maybe a corporation or something, and take these potatoes off our hands, and we'll deliver them directly to you.
I like that idea. If you just leave your name and number with Ray, I'll have our friend Kelsey get a hold of you.
Sounds great. And gobble till you wobble.
Thank you, Brian. Please hang on the line. There we have it. So we're looking for a corporation to help the Boy Scouts. I believe that's tax-deductible donation to purchase the potatoes, I believe, and they'll donate those to the Boise Rescue Mission. Liberal Steve, you wanted to talk a little bit more?
About those potatoes. America knows when you got potatoes, you don't need nothing else. And I want to talk about the mission, how important it is what you're doing, feeding individuals. You can talk about Jesus to them all day, you can talk about Buddha, you can talk about Muhammad, whatever, but until their belly's full and those neurons in the brain are sober, firing back and forth, they're not going to listen. But once that's full, they can change their life if they're sober, because they will be listening, and the Holy Spirit will come into them, and they do the job that they need to do. They take the steps they need to do, and they will turn their life completely around, thanks to Miller feeding them first.
Traffic and weather together at KID. And I'm Kevin Miller. The giving continues. We're here Saturday till 6 o'clock. We would love to see you. Give a turkey, don't be a turkey. I'm here throughout the day and into the night. I want to thank our friends from Ohio and Holy Apostles Parish who donated those 2 turkeys last night. I know who you are. Thank you, and God bless.